Let's fight. A very good evening to each and every one of you guys. A very good evening to each and every one of you. And I am joining you this evening from the National Assembly. And a little quiet area, hopefully, in the National Assembly. We've been at Parliament all day. And I know that my colleague Randolph Critchlow has been covering some of what we have been discussing here at Parliament. And I am hoping that Randy is going to join us. And we're going to talk about a couple of things that has been happening. And it's good to have you guys. You guys know if you're in the ring, one of the first things we have to do, we got to share the live stream this evening. Let's fight, folks. I know lots of you saw a fight on my page today, and you've been probably your ears itching to see what we're going to say. You know, sometimes we got to fight. Sometimes we got to fight, folks. You like it or not. Sometimes people come after you. You got to fight. You got to darimple some people. Some people, you got to brackle them on a board and throw the wig overboard. But you got to fight. You got to contend for the faith. That's what the good book tells us. Good to see so many of you on with us tonight. And I know Randy is going to be on as well. It is Talkback Thursday. And because it's Talkback Thursday, guys, you know this is about you. And you have our numbers there. And we want to hear from you. I'm still seeing, because I have limited, very, very limited resources here at Parliament to do this show, but we still wanted to give you some of what's been happening here on the ground. We're still gonna give you some good information. And so Randy's gonna join me in just a little bit, but we can share the live stream as we come on. Whether you guys are joining us on Twitter, whether you're joining us on Facebook, whether you're joining us on YouTube, in Guyana, in the Caribbean, internationally, in the diaspora, wherever you're picking us up from this evening, we are tremendously privileged. Guys, I know it's the camera. Wow, I look a little handsome tonight. Good to have all of you who are with us. And guys, share the live stream. I even look a little dapper if you ask me. Yeah. Yeah. Folks, we got to do what we got to do. Randy's going to come on, and Randy's going to give us a lot of a lot of the information that has come through Parliament for the course of the day. Let me bring in Randy one time. Maybe Randy's going to help pull some of you on faster. So let me bring on Randy. Randy, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm actually great. I was listening to your colleague Jeremy Figueroa on the floor.
Well, I'm actually hoping you have some of those videos. We might have them queued up there, and you can bring them from your end, right? I don't know if our colleague Andrew Weeks, who's been helping you with some of this stuff during the course of the day, might be.
I actually
stand by. But it's great to have you on this evening, Randy. I know you've been working hard all day, and thanks for stepping in here on such short notice. But what a Parliament it has been. I actually want to show this video start off by showing this video this morning of this Pashwe. This is not fight. This is Pashwe.
Let's start with that fight before we go to the fight in Parliament.
But I'm really hoping that we have it queued up correctly and we're going to get the audio. So, folks, give us a sense whether you have the audio or not. And we are going to try to adjust it from our end and make sure that we have the audio queued up correctly. We don't want nothing to hamper how you receive this. Yeah.
Look at you. Background and everything in. So no audio. But
no audio?
We see squaring up. People squaring up. That's all.
All right. So we're going to adjust that.
I share you on Pashwe Monday.
we're going to adjust that, Randy, so the folks get the stuff live, direct, and credible. And let me see if we might be able to bring this in another way, folks. But Randy, as we hold for that, tell us from your standpoint some of what you might have seen and heard in the National Assembly today, in no order of importance.
You know, it was quite surprising for me. My assessment of what played out, or the bit that I saw today, I am still trying to make sense of this, the Speaker of the House, his position, and what are his intentions. And I have to question those because his actions and his disposition and his decisions today you have to call in questions his motives. We saw a blatant attempt to ensure that nothing is discussed in Parliament that would cast the PPP or the government in a bad light. So that is what characterized today for me. This push by the Speaker to ensure that nothing is discussed or no motion is brought that cast the government in a bad light. And he should probably be going to Tokyo to represent Guyana in the gymnastics category, because he did all sort of gymnastics and bring up all kind of precedent to say that this shouldn't be heard, you can't hear this. And the most blatant one, of course, was the fact that he said, look, we can't discuss the flood situation because he don't deem it urgent. And it came up on, of course, the standing orders to discuss topics or discuss issues that are definitive and
that was incredible, Randy.
Right.
That was incredible.
Definitive, urgent, and of public importance. I don't see how a national flood that was deemed a crisis by none other than the fraudulent presidents. I'm going to say a word, but not all by the president and the CDC declared that, look, this thing is a national crisis. It's a disaster. So why is it that at the highest lawmaking body, legislative body in the country, we can't discuss remedies for this? We can't discuss a motion because, you know what? It will highlight and it will showcase the incompetence and the shambolic nature in which they responded to this flood situation and how discriminatory they are in their relief efforts. So all of these things will come up. So the Speaker is running point for the government in trying to shield them from this discussion. So that is what stood out for me today. That is what stood out for me. It is quite amazing that the Speaker would say that the flooding in Guyana right now is not urgent enough to have a conversation on in Parliament. I don't know if that makes sense to the viewers out there.
Yeah, and one wonders, Randy, what would then qualify as urgent? You have so many people across the length and breadth of our country who have been affected by this flood in one way or the next, and to hear that this is not urgent, it's quite startling to say the least.
Yeah, and you know what was interesting, and I'm happy that MP Ganesh Maipal stood up after the Speaker made this poll. And let me say this before I get there. The Speaker came with a prepared response to this. He knew that the flood situation would have been brought up. He came with a prepared response saying, look, according to some rules somewhere, it says that urgent means that it must have just happened and it's it's an emergency. And this flood here is still ongoing, is going on. So that means that it's urgent. Some president from somewhere he decided to pull, obviously prepared. Ganesh Maipal, to his credit, pushed back on that. He asked Mr. Speaker, the livelihood, not necessarily like the life and death situation that people are facing in this country, don't you think that is urgent enough to warrant a discussion in this house? And I thought that was magnificent, because what are you telling those persons who are affected by this flood? What are you telling the people in Corentyne that water up to the house, the rooftop, that matter ain't urgent enough? Just because it can make the PPP look bad, we can't discuss it in Parliament. That is for you. There's a slap in the face to every single. I saw a report saying up to 30,000 households in this country, over 100,000 people affected by this flood, and it's not urgent enough for the Speaker, for Manzoor Nadir, to decide that it is urgent enough to discuss.
Incredible. Incredible, Randy. Incredible. So, Randy, I think we have that fight queued up. Let's take it, and then we're going to come back and fight the Speaker.
He can't hold him Brianna alone. He can't hold him Brianna alone. Oh, your mother too. Continue. You video? You video? This is a good thing you have. You should have shared this Facebook. I'm coming, baby. I'm coming.
So Randy, that is I don't know. Have a go at it. Have a go at it.
You know, I don't know if you know about the term "nut up"
in the ring. Somebody said in the comments that is in the ring daytime. Folks, we want to hear from you. It's Talk Back Thursday. We have the number up, and we'd love to hear from you some of what you saw transpire there and the fight we have currently happening in the National Assembly. We'd love to hear from you guys.
People that say the people nut up. They're nut up. People can't lose them. Nut up.
Yeah.
I mean, we kid, but I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about it, Jared. I really don't know how. And
folks, I want to put on the table that this is a welfare officer attached to the Amerindian, the indigenous. Well, it used to be indigenous. It's the Amerindian Affairs Ministry. This is a welfare officer who is coaching. Beat shit, Brianna.
Yeah, that person was commentating. I mean, that's why I don't know how to feel about it.
Once you tell yourself, and Brianna, we made to understand, is a teacher. Is a teacher at the Matthews Rich Primary School. I ain't want my child go there and get your vex at all.
Wow.
Yeah, you understand? Sit down and ship
to see it happening. Like any other act of violence, it's quite sad. And to see other persons there egging on. She was a big time coach. She's telling her to do what you say.
Yeah. It is nothing short of incredible. To see that, to hear it, and to see, as against being trying to live up at least to the profession that you have. You have, as you said, this coach there going on and on in the background. That being said, Randy, I don't know if you have any other thoughts there, but I mean to see. Yeah, and this is several things that have been that have come in less than, let's say, a month. more or less, or let's say 2 months, you had the biting incident with the Dalrymple woman. We
Yeah.
were asking the minister of the installed minister of Home Affairs, when charges coming for Dalrymple?
Yeah.
Right? Today, it's about 2 or 3 weeks now, and no charges has been laid. And then we saw that brutal beating in the boat. Right? So
Yes.
it
Yes.
seems as though as a society, we feel that this is the way to go. But when we say in the ring are we fighting, guys, we talk about the clash of ideas.
Yes.
If
Yes.
I mean, Randy, if we
Not
gotta
no,
get down,
not
that's it. You understand me? If I gotta say take off my shirt or hold my shirt, Randy, hold my shirt, it is what it is, right? But largely, what we mean is the contending for ideas, is the supremacy
yes.
of ideas.
Yes, definitely. We don't ever want to see that. And Sharon, I'm lost of words. I mean, we know these things happen, but when you see other persons encouraging it, it is quite sad.
It takes on a totally different meaning when you see what is transpiring out there. But Randy, let us get back. I know a lot of people want to comment on that, but folks, even if you want to call, we have our numbers up. Call us and let us hear your thoughts on that very story. But while we were talking, while as we were talking earlier on, the speaker would have said that this flood happening nationally is not urgent. The people of Region 6, for instance, feel differently. And that is why some of them were protesting just last evening at the a proposition by the government to flood their areas deliberately, just to appease some special interest there. But they weren't having it, and they were out protesting. I want us to take a listen to some of it. It's quite a bit lengthy. And then we can come back and talk again about that motion within that context of people who are out there hurting. So let's take a listen to that, and then we're going to get some comments back on the other side.
Yeah.
Form of relief and some form of help from officials in the region. So this is here in John's village. So this is the situation here. So who what going on really?
Blacklisting will kill you, right? Because of the water background, right? And now they come and bust some back is over shop. And by come and see them and get away. Now they're being high market they go to back. And the people come back.
Who would have given this? Who would have done, or who would have given these orders for these things to be done?
Just says Ulfi. That way, themselves.
Oh, so it's not conform. It's an.
Not.
Okay. How long the water has been in the residential area here?
Since a beginning rainfall.
That would be like how much weeks?
2-3 weeks now. 3 weeks ago for now.
And since then, has the water been receding, or has it been increasing, or?
Yeah, up all the time. And it up more today, it started up twice more.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'll see any you know.
Anybody else? So guys, this is the situation here. A resident would have voiced his concern. This situation here in John's, the resident is saying that they would have been flooded for the past 2 weeks. We're gonna go down deeper into the crowd. Residents would have called me here to do a coverage here. I did the rest. Anybody else? Nobody in talk. So guys, the residents are out here sort of protesting the actions being done by some guys that came earlier to unblock a tubing that was blocked that would allow excess water to come in the residential area. I see somebody is asking who would have given the order. They allege, the residents are alleging and are saying that Minister Zulfi would have given the order, that the person that came to do the removal said the Minister of Agriculture would have given the order for that to be done.
1 year ago, when money there, who gave 4 people must get it back. The one for the water there. One month. And the black culvert there, it says Zulfi tell them to clear out the culvert. I be going to drunk in the back to them. I save chicken there. Chicken them I save there. And the lab be drunk in there. That they want lab be drunk in there. No, I take a video back there. How high the water there back there. 1 month since I've been there, living like you go, you gone, living like you come, living like you gone, living like you come.
Now you come
The
more.
one never see no till they make come more. I'm gonna drunk the day. So unless I save the chicken and I'll be getting back there.
Okay, so that's one resident voicing her concern. She's a resident where the flood is
So Zulfi came for the rich people only, not came for the poor people. That's how Zulfi send them. Because up for culvert.
you're a resident at the back too?
Chairman, that's why.
How many days now? Okay, has the water been receding or has it been increasing? The dropping or raising?
I put 2 pumps back there and the
Randy?
pump the water out and I come to wash back, you know.
Folks, and welcome back again. That was part of what transpired on the Corentyne quite recently. And again, as the residents there saying, it's the installed minister of agriculture that would have given a deliberate instruction, Randy, that place should be flooded.
To open the cocoa, that's what she's saying.
Yeah, deliberate instruction.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
But they weren't having it, right? And we see a lot of resistance by the people of Region 6 against the administration and their very, very poor management of this flood situation there. Very, very poor management. And folks, the number is up. We'd love to hear some of your thoughts on these issues. Randy? And again, this is part of what the motion that MP Maipod brought sought to discuss. What is exactly happening on the ground and how are we going to help our people move forward in this country? But then we see the speaker now saying that motion was not urgent. No, not urgent.
Sherrod, it is very obvious that the PPP doesn't want you to talk about what is happening on the ground. They can't allow you to talk about the shambolic performance during this disaster that has played out across the country. So the speaker is just carrying out political instructions as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
He is basically saying, look, we can't talk about the flood. When just as you showed there, villages Villages after villages, village after village, it's the same issue. People are suffering. There's lots of confusion. There is no central plan. The CDC is on radio asking for supplies.
Yep.
You know, the president saying they underestimated it. It's just a whole heap of confusion. The same way they dealt with COVID-19. It's the same shambolic nature they're approaching this flood relief with. And I don't even know what to say. To even think that this should not be discussed in Parliament is a slap in the face to every single Guyanese. Every single Guyanese, especially those who are suffering right now. Yep. So we're going to continue down the road. We continue down the road of, you know, whatever happen. Let me just keep going along. We don't discuss about what we can. Don't discuss and try to come up, make some sort of decision. But we in Parliament, we just rolling with the punches. We're looking at a live shot, Sharon.
I can, I'll give you a live shot, Justin. This was early on in the day, but as you saw, you know, I think just before this or during this presentation here, the leader of the opposition was speaking, and Mahi Paul, I wanted to bring that to us. But as you know, it's like the people of Region 6 saying we enabling, and then we got Region 10. That is flooded worse. I think that is the worst hit area, really and truly, of this flood. Really and truly. Right? And so the motion sought to look at all of that. Wow. Right? Exactly. Sought to look at all of that. But again, you see where we have now arrived. Randy, I know you've been following lots of the other stuff that has been happening in the National Assembly. So
Well, for me, Sharon, again, a number of other things stood out. The speaker, that was outrageous. But then I want to talk, I want if we can focus on the motion brought by former Minister of Public Infrastructure and the confusion surrounding this idea, this flaring motion that was set aside basically by the speaker because of some case pending in court. Now, for those persons who didn't catch it earlier when we were discussing with the minister, the former minister, earlier in the year, I'm sure you will be able to expound more, the minister brought a motion to the Parliament to deal with Exxon flaring.
Yeah.
This is a very contentious issue. This is an issue that all Guyanese should be aware of and they should be concerned about. And so the minister brought this motion to the Parliament. Parliament, of course, was quote-unquote unofficially prorogued for 90-something days.
Yeah.
And in that ensuing time, a court case was brought that involved Minister Patterson, former Minister Patterson, which probably has something to do with this flaring thing too. So now, but Parliament has restarted. The Speaker conveniently looked on that and decided that he's going to dig up some precedent to say, you know what, we can't discuss this flaring that Exxon is doing because there's this matter that was filed some couple months after this thing was tabled in Parliament. So, you know,
this is a live shot, Randy.
This is a live shot, and it was, and I was about to say, Mr. Ranjatan, who stood up and said, "Look, we can't allow court cases to hamstrung or for the Parliament to be hamstrung by court proceedings."
Yeah, and that was a very powerful point that the Guyanese people should know.
Yeah, and I want to take it further, Sharon, because people don't understand the implications, the serious implications of having Parliament hamstrung by court cases. Think about what can happen. Let's just put into context Exxon, a big powerful company, international company, that it is not in their best interest to have this discussion on flaring in our Parliament. Who is to say that Exxon can't just get somebody to bring some case so the Parliament can discuss their flaring, so they can continue flaring?
Yeah.
Who is to say that if the motion that was brought by Minister Patterson today on the zoning and this shore-based thing, that some big company that want to tear down some more mangrove will just bring another case, and so that case there now, so we can't discuss the mangrove destruction in Parliament. It is ludicrous. It is ludicrous to think that the highest decision-making body got a hold up because anybody come from somewhere and bring some case.
Yeah.
Madness.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, that in there that has anchored himself there, installed himself there at infrastructure, said in the National Assembly, it is the investors who come and dictate where their show base should be put down. Is that we who tell them?
Exactly.
They come and tell us where their show base is going to be put down.
This is the mentality of the PPP, this giveaway mentality. And he proudly proclaiming he was part of some, what you call it, the private sector commission. He is big businessman. And you are going to, well, you probably should stay in business because you don't care about the people in the country. Yeah. You don't care about the people in the country in there because you're going to come in Parliament and say, you know what? Hey, when the investor come, they dictate where they want to go.
Yeah.
This is what the minister said.
It is the investors. We wanted to tell the investors where they should go, but it's the investors who should dictate where they come. And that's why this investor over the river now
doing what you want to do.
All of the mangroves.
Yeah.
Doing what you want to do with we.
Because we have a minister that would stand up in the Parliament and say that when investors come, they have to dictate to us.
Yeah.
What foolishness is that?
Yeah.
What foolishness? And as we're on in there, because I was taking copious notes, you know, I paid rapt attention to the foolishness that the PPP likes to spew in Parliament. On the issue, Sherrod, of task force and the inclusion of the opposition on boards and these various task force, fraudulent Indar stood up in the Parliament today to say that when the opposition was included on task force, they went and give the information that was discussed in the task force to the friends and family. So you know what? That's why no opposition in on any task force or any board apparently. And he said these were his words. So that is good riddance. So they have no intention of including any opposition body on any board or any task force, because this is their mentality. This is their modus operandi. Good riddance. We don't need y'all. We can dictate the thing, right? Yeah. We don't allow the investors to come and they can tell we what they want in our country. These are the people. These are our representatives, Sherrod.
Yeah.
Those are the people who are representing my interests. I'm a guy. I feel like he's selling me out.
One of the most startling things that I got a sense of, the installed Prime Minister Phillips gave an overview of where we are on the flood. There was no national importance attached to it. And then Frank Anthony Little is on in the morning, gave an overview of where we are, for instance, where COVID-19 is concerned. Half of his presentation talked about what is happening internationally, right? Mm. But you wouldn't get a sense that we are in a conundrum here with a pandemic, the size and proportion of COVID-19 compounded by a national flood, right? Yeah. You would think that, you know, it's an ordinary time in our nation's history and all is going well. There is no sense that prices are spiraling. The people are complaining and protesting.
Yes.
You know, the cost of living is going up. Beef was $400 a pound, now is $800. Well, by the time our lease cowed out in the flood, it's probably $1,600. There isn't a sense. There isn't any sense of urgency.
There is no sense of urgency.
No sense of urgency.
Nor is there any collaboration or plan. And let me give you an example of what I mean. The Minister of Labor, the fraudulent Minister of Labor, stood up today and said in the National Assembly that he is not responsible for health. So he can't answer any questions about the health of those workers at the mining company. When asked about the fact that these workers have been tested positive, they tested positive COVID-19 Aurora Gold Mines. Now you are the minister responsible for labor. These persons are workers. No, you know what is startling? Is that it seems as though there is no collaboration between the Ministry of Labor and the Ministry of Health, because he would have been able to say to Guyanese, Sherrod, that you know what? I have spoken to the Minister of Health on this issue. We have addressed the matter. On my end, my ministry will do X, Y, Z. And we will be ably assisted by Ministry of Health to get these things done, because the workers' interests are our interests. But no, he has no answer, no plan.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
these are our representatives.
He was upset that he was being asked about COVID. He said, what COVID got to do with labor?
Madness.
Of industrial, what you call it? Health and safety?
I don't know. This is the Minister of Labor.
About COVID?
Joseph Hamilton. These are all Sharon, I feel like as if my as a Guyanese, I feel so ashamed that these are our representatives.
Your taxpayers' dollars being wasted paying for their salaries. Wasted. Right? Being wasted. And Randy, while we run that, I remember the public is asking me, he said the sports minister, the installed sports minister, spoke of an allocation of 10 million for each ground to be rehabilitated. He wants to know about the number 5, if the number 5 ground is included there. He wants to know, and the question again, I think we talked about this earlier on, from MP German Figuera, was what methodology was used, for instance, to even highlight some of these, to aid some of these grounds, right? Some of the grounds might be in need of more infrastructural works than others. So how come, $10 million was given to some of these grounds, right? No two grounds are the same, and the minister couldn't. The installed minister, in his usual harebrained, empty head fashion, could not say why or how these grounds were allocated $10 million each. Like you just shop one day and say, you can get 10 million. Bad Settlement, you can get 10 million. Blairmont, you can get 10 million. Everybody gets 10 million.
Sharon, I can speak with some sort of credence when it comes to allocations on grounds. For 2 years under the APNUFC, I was the head of the ground. Each ground is a different case. There are grounds that probably just need $2 million to get a little thing fixed. And to say we're going to blanket $10 million to everybody, it's kind of crazy. But we've not even come yet to Banty Lion.
Yeah.
Banty Lion, this is the Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport, who we know doesn't want to be there, who we know has no interest in sport, right? Party that she had the ministry and he's making a mess of it. So this is the man that stood up today and said that APNUFC didn't do anything for Linden and how Gail Teixeira give Linden Sports Club ground lights. When if all you need to do is to Google and you see it's Christopher Jones under the APNUFC that donated those lights to Mackenzie Sports Club ground.
Randy, I know you had a photograph earlier, and I don't know if you still have it at your disposal there. We might be able to pull it up. But that being said, Gail Teixeira did nothing special for the people of Linden. The same way the opposition when we were in government did nothing necessarily special for Region 9 by building them nice roads, right? We're entitled to that as citizens of this country by any government. Every area, every community is entitled to be developed to its fullest potential under any administration. So whether Gail Teixeira in the 22 years that they were in power, their last tenure, give a couple lights, is besides the point. What are you doing now? And there was this huge promise of economic dynamism. You understand me? But we're there. We aren't feeling it.
Yeah.
The people at Corentyne who protested, they
Def-
dynamism. The farmers whose cattle dying, they're feeling this economic dynamism. The people who paid $800 for beef ain't feeling it. The people in Region 10, Silvertongue, Kokwani, they're feeling this economic dynamism. So what are we talking about?
Yeah, we have the article right there, Shirt.
Great.
So
Hold on. Let me bring them to you. I'll check out this one and bring in your own. Sorry. Yeah.
That's the article right there.
Yeah. All right.
These are that the sheriff gives to the Linden Sports
yes.
Sports
and
these are the like
and Chris
I didn't know
on our behalf.
No. I didn't realize that the sheriff has such a dark tan.
Oh yes.
And she bought her head.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yes. The nicotine really give her a tan.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Right? And that's probably other ministers in the government at the back they're watching.
Yeah. Other ministers, you know. It's
we have. That's a challenge that we and that is what that's not village wise. That look like Kaichor.
Yeah.
Or Chronicle. That's a state paper. I'm seeing the 24th day of August 2016. Lights being given, but Charles Robinson said no, it's Gail Teixeira. Since they went in power, since when? Right? Lies.
Nancy Lyon probably had some dream.
Lies.
He probably sat down at Main Street and had a dream that Gail Teixeira would do something in Linden. And so he decided this is we can talk today. You know,
lies, and more lies. That is all we have from them. Lies, and more lies. And that is what we say we are about. And these programs, Randy, Afternoon Rush, The Rush, and the other programs here on social media that we produce are about giving you credible information, Randy. You always say that. Valid and credible information and fact-checking these guys in real time.
Yep, definitely.
Because the person who don't know, they can say, wow, boy, them banners and give Linden nothing. Right? There's no ransom and get them something.
Yeah. People who don't know, people who are too lazy. And I use the word very, very liberally now since the word is a taboo word. People who are too mentally lazy will not know. I have no apologies for saying that. If you are willing to just type in on the internet, you will find the answers.
Yeah.
You will find the answers. Instead of sitting down and digesting and regurgitating the foolishness that the PVP ministers are spewing, go and do your own research.
Yeah.
Go and do your own research.
The answers are not out there blowing in the wind. The answers are available. Randy?
I wanted to talk about one other thing. I listen, you know, these little details, sometimes they pass us. But I like the details. The devil is always in the details.
I think at least 2 phone calls. People, hundreds of you are watching, hundreds, and yet not one phone call. I hope Randy is not intimidating y'all. You understand? I hope y'all don't think Randy gonna do like what the woman did to the one we were showing earlier, and it's a beat down. Randy not gonna think y'all. Randy won't ripple y'all, won't bite y'all hand, right? Randy won't both beat y'all, pull off y'all, we can throw it overboard. Randy's a deep fellow. When he gets ready.
Do we have wigs for them to pull off? So
yeah,
you know.
This might be called in the ring, but it's a relatively safe space. So, folks, we expect a couple calls before we come to program time. Go right ahead, Randy.
Yeah, some little details. I just caught it to the side of my mental eye or my ear. So, as Indar was about to come and talk, I heard him say, I know if you were in the parliament at that point in time, he said something about don't talk about my house in parliament.
Oh yes. Indar has built a house to the tune of about $170 million. And he said this is money he saved up because he worked in the private sector. He was so successful. Right? He built a house of $170 million.
Yeah.
Over the river. Right? That is very, very controversial. Soon as he ran in government, suddenly he publishing photographs on Facebook. These photographs were published. Right? And I believe he should be exempt from criticism and scrutiny.
Yeah, people must not talk about his house.
No, he probably emotionally distressed like Charles.
Charles emotionally, psychologically distressed before long now. he's psychologically, emotionally distressed. Since he come in the parliament to talk about Banty Lions, he was out of his depth. And he's still out of his depth because I don't know what we do in that culture, but I don't want to waste time with Charles.
Presidential candidate
Charles is president in waiting, apparently. He's president in waiting.
He thinks so. He thinks so. And he really grudge the guy who's at natural resources. He really grudge that guy.
Listen.
He thinks the guy stole his ministry.
Before we go to Indar, let me take a couple minutes and empathize with Charles. Now imagine you decide that you're going to study oil and gas legislation and all these fancy things. I go in and because I'm going to preempt this thing. Our country is coming into some oil and gas, and I'm going to be big.
Mm-hmm.
And your party, not your party, Jack Dio, decide that he gonna. I'm just taking a little aside right now to empathize with him. What an issue. I feel bad for you, Sharon. I feel bad, and this is why he doing stupidness. This is his rebellious period. Say you're gonna do stupidness to me, I do bare stupidness. I feel this is what happening because your man gonna study little oil thing, and they go back into government, and Jack Dio say, I don't want you. You little too ambitious for me, boy. You little too ambitious. You the one run against me and me party. You wanted to be leader or something like. You want to run against me. You want to be presidential candidate. Here, what I can do you? You go sit down at Main Street to continue to sport, and I can take this man here with this computer science degree.
He's too ambitious.
And I can put him with a job that you wanted, and then you can go sit down at Main Street there. I'll watch him run the ministry that you want. That's your place, Banty Lion.
He's a little too ambitious to the people. Little too ambitious. So,
but let's get to Indar before we change the topic, Shared. Indar now. As Ramjitan continues, Ramjitan, you better pull your mask over your mouth because I hear Shared shouting down. Shared, you're shouting down the Attorney General for putting mask on. The man was so upset. The man said, I can hear Sharon Duncan. I know him. But Indar now. Indar is I spoke to an avid PPP supporter.
Mm-hmm.
I was very concerned. He said, this minister may know his name, but he just turned minister, may see one big house. I said, well, you got to ask him how we get the money from.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I explained devil's advocate with them. Mm-hmm. I said, the man must have money in the mattress saving up all the years.
Yeah.
But it is startling. These are the people who talk about corruption. These are the people who talk about transparency. And come to tell you don't talk about e-house. But
that's he worked at Sterling in the private sector. Indar could be probably oldest 45, and he's managed to save like Irfan. Remember the same thing with Irfan? When we spoke about Irfan buying all this land, former sugar estate where he lives there, all that land, building that mansion there. Jack Dio said he saved, right? Same thing like the one who used to work at the Ministry of the Presidency. Remember that guy had $14 billion, got $14 billion in some bank accounts. So he sell phone cards.
Mm-hmm.
He sell phone cards. You understand me?
Sell phone cards in China.
He sell phone cards.
The billions of Chinese people. He is selling phone cards to overseas. Not guy. Right?
While he on the job too, probably. He was selling phone cards and he got $14 billion. He's a small economy by himself. And if he's a little fish, right?
Oh,
and it is alleged building a huge building right here in Church Street. Right? Suddenly a set of mega projects, all these ministers got the names title. Right? Yeah. And they want to talk about, they got the ball to come and talk about transparency and accountability.
Yeah.
And want to remove Patterson from the Public Accounts Committee for allegations. Ali sat in that committee, right, for how many years? With 19 fraud charges, you know. How many
Yeah.
months, if not years? 19 fraud charges.
Shared as we talk, some credible information coming through on my end. People are listening and sending some credible information. Charles Ramson apparently has been sending home people left, right, and center of the ministry. There seems to be a trend across all sectors. And I am believing now. I'm getting closer to the point of believing that this is how they plan on creating these 50,000 jobs, by sending home 50,000 people, because credible sources have said that, look, Charles has been sending home persons at the Sophia Training Center.
Yeah.
One is already home, and a number of them have been given notice.
Yeah.
And to think that, again, I asked the question, Sharon, are these our representatives? These people do not have your interest at heart.
Yeah.
They don't even have a heart.
And Randy, this flood showed us that. This flood situation, if not the COVID, showed us that. We had to come in here and cuss them out literally and say, why y'all not in the communities in your long boots? You understand me? Looking after the needs of these people. You remember, I don't know if you got a photograph at hand with in there, drinking with the boys and the country flooding out. You understand? In there saying the wine done. That's probably the only reason why they went home, because the rum finished, the wine finished, and the country flooding out. Right? And they call themselves leaders of who? Right?
These are representatives.
The rum company happy when they see them coming. Right? They say we can get a big sales here, boy. The bank might sell Paris $165 million, $170 million house. You understand? He got shares. The man said wine finished. The National Security Advisor sporting. The Minister within the Ministry of Infrastructure, Public Works sporting, and the country flooding. And they call themselves leaders. No one did chase Airpan out of Region 6 yesterday. Small wonder. Right? Randy, before we go on, somebody is reminding us on the Charles issue that they said they're reminding us in Region 8, there were grounds that were enhanced under the coalition. Right? They called, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Commander Ground, Kurukabaru Ground, Kato, Paramakatoy, and Malia grounds were also upgraded, and they want to say that more grounds need to be upgraded. Komanu, Kurukabaru, Kato, Paramakatoy, and Malia, only some of them in the interior, but they again, the lies, just like no light was given, and it's only Comrade Gale who gave lights. Well, Comrade Gale was given a report of skullduggery in Bartica recently, but she passed the one on. You understand me? Of illegalities that are happening there with Bell and the other fella, Skeet and Ward. But she passed the on. But she go tell to Linden to give lights, and then we know now that that is lies. They come and they spread all kind of lies, because when they go to the communities, you are not there like you are in Parliament to correct them. So people say, oh, these guys work for themselves. You understand me? These guys work for themselves, me, myself, and I. Right? Not knowing that these are the real scams.
Yeah. You know, I as you said, I have a long list and probably should come on the show another night, Shared, and read out this list.
Before we go, we got to talk about this here. The illegals.
The illegals. Yeah, I was telling you, I have a long list of grounds that were developed under the AP and UAFC. And if we want to play that game, we can read that list out. You know, it's a very long list. You know, millions of dollars.
President is saying they're still at Ithaca and they're waiting for telephone lines and internet service.
Wow.
Right? Telephone lines and internet service. They're still waiting there at Ithaca.
As you mentioned Ithaca, someone mentioned to me, and it's quite sad what's happening. The PPP or the government, sorry, I don't want the PPP, the government who have a responsibility to take care of the citizens. They have a mandate to take care of the citizens. They have the state resources.
Yeah.
They went into Ithaca.
Yeah.
And again, they were discriminating and selectively giving people. And the few persons
you name on the list, Randy?
Huh?
Your name on the list?
Apparently not. And the people who the few APNU, the people who they perceive to be APNU AFC supporters that they give, they had to endure once as we say thing and a low talk.
Yeah.
The low talk.
They got to degrade you for a bag of rice.
Right.
Yeah. But Randy, I say it again, I'd rather suck salt, my brother, than take anything from these jacobats.
No, but
I'd rather suck salt.
The young lady who was telling me this, I really felt it because she could repeat it. She said she knows the man from the community, the PVP activists of the community who said because the other day Mr. Harmon was up there to open up the market, the Ithaca market. So when he come back with a little handout to the people because of the flood, he said, well, Harmon come the other day with the too long hand. You are the government. That is your responsibility. That is with the state funds.
Do their work. They come here begging us for us to do their work on COVID and vaccination. We must go there and tell the people to take their vaccine. People don't trust them. Oh, they what they call it? The vaccine hesitancy is very high in some places, right? Because people don't trust them. They want the opposition leader to come and do the work. Well, give him on the work then.
Exactly.
Right? Swearing at State House, right? They want to do the work for them, but they must get the money. They must get the accolades. It's madness.
You have all the government resources. When you come to give the little pickings to the people, you're telling them stupidness about the opposition leader. The opposition leader doesn't have the state resources at his hand reach.
Yeah.
He
got a fraction, and even the budget that he submit to get a couple things done, they slash the budget by more than half. Give us a break, man. Give us a break. And that's the challenge that we have. They talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. They told the whole world, oh, we are the ones who should be in office and in government. We have a plan. Oh, we have a manifesto. We have this and that. What the hell have they done in 9 months?
Time for prosperity.
Yeah? When we said
not for plenty,
a lot of other things, people said, no. What more time you need? They had 23 years, and they want to judge us like if we were in for 23 years, right? 23 years, 9 months here, and what the hell have they done? They're like they're like 7 plagues on this country since the touchdown. Every day is misery. You watch it. Every day is some nonsense in this country. They have brought all of the darkness and heaviness over this nation. Right? Edgel could be blessed. And all the things happening in this country that's happening currently. Edgel could be any man of the clock, really? And spew all the nonsense Edgel spewing in Parliament. We have to tell Edgel, calm down. You know you got your comorbidities, COVID thing and so on. Humble, just present, tone down, my brother. Yes, I mean, nobody would cry for Argentina if, but I won't wish anything on my colleague here.
Don't cry for the Argentina.
Nobody would cry for Edgel. Must see one person in Amelia's ward in Linden. But outside of that, right?
Anyway, I'll see you pass time.
Randy, so good to have you. Your thoughts to the people of this country as we leave this evening and in the diaspora.
I ask again, Sherrod.
Some of them I want all since you in the ring tonight,
I don't know.
Your reputation precedes you.
I don't know if it's me. But I ask, are these our representatives? These
not my representatives.
From end to end, you line them up. Line them up. Yeah, they just look. I am so saddened by the level of representation. These are ministers. The minister of labor tell you, well, I am responsible to do what baloney is that? You have a minister of youth culture and sport that it want to be there. It's a wash of confusion. No sort of, and you know what? You know what is happening, Sharon, and I leave on this point. You have a government in place with a dictator at the back playing puppeteer, a puppet president. They don't have any cabinet meetings. Then the puppeteer comes in and he says, do this, do that, do that. So nobody is communicating. There is no cohesive plan. So this is why you see all of the madness happening in this country. But it's just time, Shared. It is just time. The roll will be called just now.
Randy, as you go, one of the most startling things that really caught my attention this morning is as the National Assembly opened after more than 100 days being prorogued, the Speaker made no mention of a national flood in his opening. He made no mention of COVID. You wouldn't think 400 persons would have died, right? There was no recognition of those two very, very heavy, burdensome issues on this nation, right?
Those
You wouldn't
things will
think
make the PVP
national
look bad.
flood. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Sir, he can't mention anything to make the PPP look bad. You mad?
Yep.
Oh, you want the man keep you walk, Sharon?
Yep. Yep. Folks, thanks for joining us. Randy, Randolph, the host of that popular program, Afternoon Rush. Thanks for being with us. And I know you're doing some other spin-offs, as it were, from the Rush. Randy, and so folks, we commend that program to you. It comes over at 5:30 every afternoon, right in this space. Randy is on. Thanks for joining us. And folks, thanks for joining us, whether you're joining us on Twitter, YouTube, or on Facebook here, at home here in Guyana, in the Caribbean, internationally. Thanks for joining us this evening. And stay safe. Social distance, wear your mask, sanitize. Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, man.